Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a scratching post for your cat. Cats love to scratch and knead on different things, so it's super important to make sure you have something safe in your house for them to do this on so that they don't end up scratching up unwanted items and things that you do not want them scratching on. So without further ado, let's get to it. So this scratching post is made out of items that you probably have at home. The main thing is cardboard, so cardboard boxes are something that you need quite a few of. But if you're anything like me, I know I have a whole bunch of cardboard boxes laying around my house. You also will need a pair of scissors, probably a ruler and pencil because we are going to be cutting our cardboard into squares. So it's just the easiest way to make sure that all our squares are the same size. And then you also will need either hot glue or a stapler, or both if you have both, which is ideal, but you're gonna need one or the other. As I indicated previously, the first step to this scratching toy is to cut our cardboard into different squares. So the exact measurements of the square do not particularly matter as long as they are in fact like the same length on each side. But here are some estimated ones. If you want to go off of these, or you can go off of your own. But typically I do a base that is bigger than the rest of it. So you could do like a 7" by 7" or an 8" by 8" square. I do about 15 of those. A little more, a little less is fine. And then the main bulk of the scratching post, I do in a 6" by 6" cardboard square. And I do at least 50. Definitely can do more if you want it taller, but 50 will get it about this tall. And then to top it off, I kind of do a smaller 4.5" by 4.5" square. And I just do like 4 of those just to add a little bit of design. And then at the top, I do a 3" by 3" square, and I just do about 5 of those. So the last smaller squares are much less. So like I said, the most bulk of it is that 6" by 6" square, because you do have to do at least 50 just to get it the height that you want. Or you can make that a little smaller, but either way, you're gonna have to do a lot of those, that main one. So you can go ahead and pause your video now and get to cutting your squares. And once you get enough squares that it is as tall as you want, you can play, and we'll continue with the next step. So here are all of my cardboard squares, and you can definitely tell that's a lot, so it does take a little bit of time, but after this you are essentially done. You really just have to put them together and then have your cat enjoy it. So you can see the bulk of it are my 6" by 6" squares here. And so the next step is an optional step. So what you could do if you want to line them up all straight is you could cut little indentations in each of the cardboard things in the same. If you do them in the same place, you're able to make like a strip up. So you can do like an 1" by 1", or you can do it bigger or smaller, or you can do even multiple or on whatever sides. You can just make different little designs into this toy just by making those indentations into these pieces, these squares of cardboard. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you how to make this toy, but to spiral it so that your scratching post is not just straight. So ours is going to end up looking kind of like a spiral. You can see kind of there. But that way it's not just like a straight pile of cardboard, and so it doesn't just look like you have a pile of cardboard in your house. So on to the first step is we have to do our base. We got to start from the bottom. So I'm going to take these top ones off and just use those base squares that I have. So I'm going to use, these are all my 7" by 7" squares. And if you didn't do it previously, you can go ahead and trim up the edges. It's also good to try to make sure you have like all the graded on one side, or you can mix it up, whatever you prefer. But you want to make sure that they're all about the same size. And if they're not exactly, it's okay, because your cat is just going to go ahead and scratch it eventually. But you want to have it starting off kind of looking uniform. So we are going to connect these squares, and like I said earlier, you can either do that by using a stapler or a hot glue gun, but I would warn you that using a hot glue gun is probably a bit easier because you have to apply a bit of pressure onto the stapler in order to get it to stay. So I personally am going to use the hot glue gun just by applying it in between, just by applying it in between each square, making sure I get the edges, and then pushing it and waiting for the hot glue to dry and continuing through them. If you are using the stapler, just make sure you line it up first and foremost, and then apply a lot of pressure to get it on each of those 4 corners, and do that until you get through your stack. So now you can go ahead and pause the video and attach your cardboard squares to one another in whichever method you choose. Once you have the base of your post all done, all connected, it should be sturdy, no loose things. You can add some extra hot glue in there if you feel like it's loose in any places at all. But once that's good, we are now going to work on the body of our toy, and we're going to do that by adding our main body blocks. Like I said, mine are the 6 inch by 6 inch, but if you did a different size, now's the time to use that. And we're going to go by placing one by one. So we're going to start with the first one, just perfectly in the center. So there's two methods you could do now for the twisting of your toy. You can either twist by chunks. It would look something like that, which is kind of nice, and you can see the different cardboard parts in each of them. So what you do is just kind of every like 5-ish cardboard, you'll just twist it a little bit, and so you get that. It's a slight twist. Or if you want to twist by each individual one, you can do that, and you get more of this more spiral-like design. So for this video, I'm going to be doing twisting each one, so it's ultimately going to look like this on our toy. And you just do that by adjusting each one that you add. So let me push that off to the side. So like I said, that first one is just going to be perfectly square. And then what we're going to do with our next one is we're just going to tilt it slightly to the right. Not a whole bunch, just a little bit. And like I said, you will be putting hot glue in between, but just for time's sake, I'm not doing that right now, just so you can see how much it should be twisting. An important thing for this is to make sure you're staying over the base of the toy, because with each of them twisting, it's easy to start to have this body part move off to the side, but that's what we don't want. We want to keep it in the center. And doing about the same each time. If you have to overcorrect because you may have gone off to the side a little bit, that's perfectly fine. If you have to undercorrect, that's good too. But you can just see we're just adding it, and we're just going to keep doing that until we use up all our squares. So you'll get that spiral look, and it'll go all the way around. So now go ahead and pause your video and do your toy in either the chunk spiral method or the individual spiral method. Once you have finished the body of the post and you have done your spirals, it should end up looking something like this if you did the individual ones with spirals all around, and it should be sturdy. No matter what, you want to make sure it's sturdy so that your cat doesn't just go and knock it over, and that they're actually able to use it. So now we are just going to take our last 2 layers, so our smaller squares. These are a lot smaller, so it'll be a lot quicker, and we're so close to being done. We're going to start with our 4.5 by 4.5 inch, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for the body, and we're just going to start placed and then turn a little to the right with each one, and then do the same thing with the smaller ones as well. Once you have added those top layers to your toy, you are officially done with the scratching post, and you're ready to introduce it to your cat. So you're going to want to positively reinforce your cat to scratch on this instead of other objects in your house by giving treats and being positive whenever she goes nearby it, and then just so that they scratch on this instead of messing up your house. Thank you for watching.